Welcome everyone back to the channel. I'm Zach, your host here on the Yo Bro Nation YouTube channel. Ooh, that's a bad start. Happy Father's Day to everybody. Happy Father's Day. I am, of course, having a fantastic Sunday because as you all are watching this, I'm not home. I am visiting with my kids at this moment, or driving back. I don't know which. But happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there and to the mothers. There are those who have to do both jobs. So happy Mother's Day. Well, happy Father's Day to you all as well. So this is the return of the best countdown. And today is, of course, it's Father's Day. So as announced, I wanted to do a super special episode, basically counting down all the fathers and their, I put it in the title as Legacies. What was their legacies? Their children, of course, are their legacy. So best father-son, father-daughter duos, father-kids duos. There's a couple entries that are more than one child. But basically the criteria for this was who had the best careers as both the parent and the child. And now maybe some of the elder statesmen, maybe their careers weren't as great as their child's, but they still had, some significance within wrestling. Now yes, there's a top 10. Yes, you could probably make an argument for where these people fall. This is just fun. This isn't a super serious one. This is more of an acknowledgement, but there is somewhat of a hierarchy. But I just wanted to do this video, make it fun. Happy Father's Day to everybody. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to get started on this, of course. This is the top 10 fathers and legacies countdown. So we're going to start with number 10. And who might be number 10, you ask? Well, it is Rikishi, Fatu, Jimmy, and Jay Uso. Yeah, they are the number 10. So, I look at these teams and I think to myself, what would how do I put this? I put this list together and I thought about it, and I knew Rikishi, multiple-time tag team champion and intercontinental champion, had a big part to play in the Attitude Era, right? And then I went back and I looked at his children, and I was like, oh, dang, the Usos have been one of the better tag teams for the better part of almost 10 years. By God, it actually has been like 10 years since I think they debuted with the company, along with Tamina. But they are number 10 because, Rikishi didn't have the greatest career, and the Usos are more or less a tag team, and they haven't done much as of late. But I just look at, the Fatu, NOI, family connection. I look at all of them. It is such a deep, rich history that you can't leave them off of here. All the families with all the connections, Rock being like the cousin, and Roman, who is going to be on this list later. I know, I'll get booed. But I just look at the background of this team and what they have done, and then how their father had such an impact, in the company during the Attitude Era, which was a super pivotal time. Him with Too Cool, the rivalries he had from, I did it for The Rock, to when he was just Fatu and he was, spreading the positivity after his accident, and just a lot of things that they did, or he did, and what they have done. Rikishi is already a Hall of Famer, and I have no doubt that his sons are going to be a Hall of Famer. So no, I'm not going to do these big, deep dive breakdowns. This is just more of just them. This is what I think. Easy peasy. This is going to be a quick, easy video today. I'm taking it easy. It's a Father's Day. It's a Father's Day. So What do we have, though? Who's going to be number 9? Yes, I'm probably going to go through these pretty quick. I don't have a lot to say. It's just these are the guys. But number 9, this is a little different one. This is a father-son, grandson trio. Larry the Axe Hennig, Curt Hennig, and Curtis Axel. Now, clearly, Curtis did not have the best career in WWE, but he did start hot once he became Curtis Axel. Unfortunately, he was one of the people who were let go a little while ago from the WWE due to the virus. But Larry the Axe Hennig in the AWA, Curt Hennig, Mr. Perfect in the AWA, in the WWE, the WCW, my God, the things that he has done. His father is a legend in the AWA up north in the Minnesota area. Mr. Perfect, Curt Hennig, he is a Hall of Famer, and he is undoubtedly one of the, best men, the best professional wrestlers who have never been the world champion in the WWE. United States champion, Intercontinental champion. The guy was perfect, no pun intended. And you have such a rich background between these two, right? Between his father and himself. And then you get to Curtis Axel, or Joseph Hennig. And while he unfortunately has been booked with bad gimmicks, he was never really given the chance to shine. But when they were pushing him, when he first became Curtis Axel, he was a tag team champion as Michael McGillicuddy with the New Nexus. He has that under his belt. He was tag team champions with Bo Dallas as the B team. I mean, the guy is entertaining when given the opportunity to be entertaining. I just don't think he was ever really given that opportunity. But he is a former Intercontinental champion. Fortunately, won it on Father's Day 6 years ago. Who remembers that? 6 years ago on this day, he became Intercontinental champion. And, the fact that his father has passed away and his grandfather has passed away, my heart does go out to him. I couldn't do this and not mention Curtis Axel because he did have potential. And I do think he'll land on his feet somewhere, probably in a New Japan or an MLW. He'll get to go there and he'll be a somewhat big deal, right? Maybe even Impact will pick him up. But I am not going to discount the ability of him. And I'm certainly not going to discount the abilities of Mr. Perfect or his father. So while I'm not as familiar with his father as I am Mr. Perfect and Curtis himself, still, I think that is a good family lineage from one father to the next father down. And who knows, maybe we'll get a 4th generation out of Curtis Axel one day. So let's go ahead. Let's move on to number 8. And number eight is a good one. And I know y'all are going to boo me here, but Sika Anoa'i and Joseph Anoa'i, a.k.a. Roman Reigns. Now, before I get buried in the comments, before I'm told, but Roman, he ain't that good. Okay, let's separate everything. Yes, in the past, I've complained about the push of Roman Reigns and how he was shoved down our throats, much like John Cena. But much like John Cena, over time, I have grown to appreciate Roman Reigns, to not hate Roman Reigns. In fact, now, with everything, how it's been on Raw and SmackDown, I would die to have Roman Reigns back on TV. And that's bad. That's bad. But I would love to see it again. So, but much like Rikishi and, the Usos, you cannot deny what they've done. You just can't. There is no denying them. Some fans, though, may say number 8's a little low. Sika was primarily a tag team wrestler. He was one of the tag team champions with the Wild Samoans, Alpha and Sika. Of course, he was also a manager, of Fatu, Rikishi, and his cousin. Sorry, I'm drawing a blank. I guess I should have wrote this shit down. But, then he was the manager of them. So they again come from that proud lineage. Yokozuna, Rikishi, all these guys. All these family members who were just in there, the Usos, The Rock, High Chief Peter Maivia, this big long family tree. So already they're qualified as being in this because they're already set up to be, better than everyone else. But then you did get Roman. And yes, again, I was resistant against this. But over time, I've come to appreciate Roman Reigns, Joseph Anawai, the person. So, but then you just look at what he's accomplished. Intercontinental Champion, United States Champion, WWE Champion, Universal Champion, Raw Tag Team Champion, or our Tag Team Champion. Yeah, so he has literally won everything. He's a Grand Slam champion. He's a Royal Rumble winner, a Money in the Bank winner. He didn't win Money in the Bank. I take that back. But the guy's literally done almost everything. Main evented WrestleMania multiple times. Beat the Beast Brock Lesnar. Like, the guy got legit credit. I could throw him up higher, but his father was just a tag team wrestler. Plus, I don't think that they are the number one. But that all being said, I have respect for the family. I have respect for Roman and where he comes from. And I see much more potential coming from Roman. Much more in general if WWE does it right. So that's number 8. I do feel confident with that pick. And, whatever. So I'm just going to move on. Number 7. This, I know I may get some people telling me this is a little low, but we are looking at the entire Guerrero family, starting from Gory, working down to Hector, Chavo, Mongo, Eddie, even to little Chavito, like the Guerrero family. And I'm pretty sure I heard somewhere that actually Eddie's daughters have been working, training. Could be wrong, but that's what I've heard. But you look at this family, Eddie's father, Gory. He's got his own move named after him, the Gory Bomb, the Gory Special. Hector, really good in Mexico. Chavo, huge. Chavo's classic, huge in Mexico. Mongo, a really good, accomplished wrestler. And then you look at Chavo Jr., you look at Eddie, and everything they have done from WCW to WWE, Chavo to MLW, to Impact Wrestling. They've got so many things. Cruiserweight champion, tag team champions, WWE champion, United States champion, Intercontinental champion. Like, this is such a fantastic, group of people. And in Eddie, he's been to New Japan and been a champion there. I mean, the guy's done everything. Chavo's done everything. Chavo and his dad could have been on this list by themselves. Chavo and Gory by themselves could have been on this list. But I wanted to include the entire Guerrero family because it's such a deep legacy full of, the father and his sons, and then his son and his kid. It is such a deep-rooted family who've had so many accomplishments, are very well known in the El Paso area. I've been to the Coliseum where Eddie and Chavo used to wrestle during matches, in between matches during the intermissions. I've been there. I've seen. I know how much they are loved down in El Paso. So it's real. Like, it is a real thing. I've been there. I felt it. I actually would love to go back. But, the Guerrero family, what can I honestly say? That is one of the best families in this business. So obviously they're going to be on this list. I mean, come on. And of course, rest in peace, Eddie. Obviously, Eddie, being the most accomplished of all of them, being the WWE champion and everything. Man, it sucks that he's gone. But moving from one family to another huge family, you can't talk about wrestling and a list of fathers and his sons, his children, if you don't mention the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, and his sons, Goldust, Dustin Rhodes, and Cody. I cannot imagine doing this list without them. I could probably put them higher on this list. Dustin has been tag team champion. He's been United States champion in WCW. He's been the Intercontinental champion in WWE. He's in his 50s and he's still going as good as he's ever been in AEW. Dusty Rhodes, former NWA WCW champion, television champion. I think it was US champion. Like, he is synonymous with wrestling as a booker and a promoter. He's one of the catalysts for NXT. And then you get to Cody, with all that pressure on him from his family, managed to become Intercontinental champion, was a tag team champion, but never got the proper bookings in WWE. So what did he do? He far exceeded, I think, what anyone would have ever expected from Cody Rhodes. He went out there, ROH champion, was the Impact World champion. He's been the NWA champion. And along that line, he put on this little show called All In. And it was epic. Him and the Elite putting this show together, that morphed into what we know as AEW. The man has helped change the wrestling landscape, and it's only going to get better from here. I have all the faith. And now he's been having killer matches in his 30s. He's getting up there. He's talking 5 more years. And he is literally having some of the best matches he could have ever put on. Like, some of the best matches the last year plus. Last year, Double or Nothing, him and Dustin in that fucking beautiful match. That classic. His match with Chris Jericho this year. His match with Darby Allin last year. Like, just this past week against Mark Quinn. The week before that against Jungle Boy. Like, he's having such great matches. So, the Rhodes family, I could have put much, much higher. But no doubt they deserve to be here. I mean, if I wanted to talk about just individuality, I could put Dustin and Cody on here. Dusty and Cody. Because they're such a fantastic family. The father and his sons. The son of a plumber, who's now got the son of a plumber, who's now changed the game. Him and Dustin, they've changed wrestling by getting AEW going. It's beautiful. Honestly, it's beautiful. I don't know what else to say. But I'm going to move to number 5 to, again, another huge family in wrestling. Yes, I could talk about all the Hart brothers. They're all in wrestling. They've all done some modicum of success in wrestling. But I'm going to focus, on the patriarch and Brett and Owen. I could talk about Natty. All right, I could talk about Natty. I could even bring in the, extended family, the Bulldog. I could talk about Jim the Anvil Neidhart. I could talk about Bryman Pillman, who is a part of the family in some form. I could talk about the people who are attached. I could talk about, TJ. I could talk about Davey Boy Smith Jr. I could bring in all these people. Natty, who's killing it in the women's division. Like, this family breeds success. I could talk about Teddy Hart. And Teddy's a little, but he's still a fantastic wrestler. Like, this family breeds success. But I'm going to focus in on the patriarch and his 2 main boys, Owen and Brett. Owen, King of the Ring, Intercontinental Champion, European Champion, multi-time tag team champion. Brett, the WWE Champion. The best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. This family is wrestling royalty. And their father, while he was never in the WWE, never, won a major championship in any major promotion. He did so much more for this business than most people would even care to acknowledge. He's helped, breathe life into wrestling in other ways, through Calgary Stampede, bringing in people like Chris Benoit, Chris Jericho. People come through the dungeons like Lance Storm, and many, many, many others who have gone onto this business to do major things. It was Calgary Stampede that got us people like Edge. Like, not only that, the style of a Stu Hart, the style of a Bret has breathed in, it's something people have emulated, grew up to try to be, submission wrestling. The way that he would twist and turn people. The Hart Dungeon, that up in Calgary, like, the things that this family's done through Stu, through Bret, through Owen, all their accomplishments, the things that their father did to, give to this business. This family literally lives this business from the youngest child to the oldest of the family. They are all a part of it. And in some instances, tragically, they gave their lives for this. Bret almost lost his life with the concussion and then, the strokes because of the concussion, giving to this business. Owen tragically falling to his death for this business. This family is the definition of wrestling. If you look up wrestling, there's a few families you're going to see that are on there. You'll see the Harts. You'll see the Von Erichs. You'll see the Guerreros. There's not many other like major families that you're going to go, damn, you're going to see the Rhodes, the Flairs. You'll see the Anois. That is like the big families in this business. Which is why I moved to another. I mean, I don't know what more I can say. If you know wrestling, you know the Hart family. You know what they're about. You know the accomplishments. No doubt they should be on this list, and they're definitely worthy of number 5. But let's move on to number 4. This one, I could have probably put this one lower, in all honesty. But Cowboy Bob Orton and his son, the Legend Killer, the multiple time world champion, Randy Orton. Yes, I already hear in the comments, well, what did Bob Orton do? He's a Hall of Famer. He was a pivotal part of that very first WrestleMania, that very first WrestleMania main event. He was a very big pivotal part of that. He was a pivotal part in the 80s in wrestling. Got one of the most beautiful superplexes in the business. And he's well known for his matches against Snuka and others. Him and the cast, using it to his advantage. Wore that goddamn thing forever. Like, he was a huge part of wrestling in the 80s. And then you go to his son, Randy Orton, who admitted this was not the path he wanted to take, but he took to it in such a natural way. The man is in his late 30s, and just this past Sunday had potentially one of the greatest wrestling matches in WWE history. It was certainly not the greatest match. I just won't nitpicky, but still, it was one of the best matches I've seen. One of his best matches, honestly. So, I mean, this is a family. Randy Orton has been in some of the most celebrated matchups. I mean, he was the youngest world champion in history. Only 24 years of age. Won the world championship from he who will not be named, Chris Benoit. I think he's 13-time world champion, 14-time world champion. Main evented WrestleMania, won the Royal Rumble, Money in the Bank, Intercontinental Champion, Tag Team Champions with Edge. Has had some of the best matches, like his matches with Christian. Like, these are two guys. His match with The Undertaker at WrestleMania, it was one of those first, matches where you really started to look at The Undertaker at WrestleMania having actual great matches. That was the first that led into a line of many of them. So many fantastic matches. So many. Randy Orton should be on this list. Okay, let's just be real. He definitely should be on this list. Him and his father. Cowboy Bob Orton is no one to sneeze at. He is a legend and Hall of Famer in this business. And he didn't do it by doing nothing. So, someone who will most likely be in the Hall of Fame, and someone who is undoubtedly divisive or not, controversial or not, Tully Blanchard and his daughter Tessa. I was not super familiar with her. I'm very familiar with her father and the things that he's done in this business. Horsemen, tag team champions in both WCW, NWA, and WWE, television champion. I mean, the man, his matches with Magnum TA, her father, her stepfather, we can't leave him out. He is the father here too. But all the knowledge that he possessed with wrestling, and now he's managing Shawn Spears and doing a good job of it. I just wish they'd give him more to do. They're in AEW. But then you go down to his daughter. This woman, whatever people think of her, okay, whatever you think of her, whatever you believe about her, whether you think what she's done in the past is true, even if it is, give her the benefit of the doubt. Maybe she has changed. But just everything she's done at such a young age, she's still only like 23, 24. Like, she is the only woman in history to be a men's world champion. I could have easily threw her at the top of this list. Easily could have threw her at the top of this list. But I didn't for reasons. But there's so many things. Like, she's been world women's champion in Impact Wrestling. She was in the Mae Young Classic. She's been women's champion, women's tag champion. Like, everywhere she's been, she's won championships. She's one of the best women's wrestlers in the world, and she's someone for an AEW to go out there and get, because I believe her contract ends this summer. She is someone who WWE and AEW are going to be fighting to try to get if she doesn't stay with Impact Wrestling, which I'm thinking she's going to, because she's got a great home there. They love her there, and she's probably comfortable. That being said, my God, the talent she possesses, she got from her father. She got from her stepdad. Like, she was built up for this business, and I give her all the respect in the world. That's why she's number 3. That's why her and her dad are number 3. I could go on about her accolades, but you really all should go out there, check her out if you haven't watched her, and really just like go watch them both. Everyone who's on this list up to this point, you should definitely go watch. So it probably makes you ask, well, who's number 2? Who's number 1? Well, let's check out and let's see who number 2 is. This was hard. These top 3 were actually really hard. But The Rock and his dad, Rocky Johnson, were without a doubt deserving to be up here towards the top. These two could have easily been number 1. Rocky Johnson, along with Tony Atlas, broke ceilings in professional wrestling in the 70s and into the 80s. Broke down doors for other African American wrestlers. And with everything going on, and honestly, it didn't even occur to me till right now, while I'm recording. With everything going on, these are guys who set the precedents for the current stars to be able to do what they do. Rocky Johnson and Tony Atlas, the first ever black tag team champions, broke down doors, got places where others didn't get to go. Rocky Johnson was such a charismatic professional wrestler. And with great skill, great physique, like the man had the total package. Just unfortunately, in that time and era, there was no way he'd ever be a world champion. But then he had his son, Rocky Johnson. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was born. And I'm not going to sit there and say, oh, that was his greatest achievement, because it was far from his greatest achievement. but I guarantee you it was his most prideful moment as a father. And then to see his son come into the business and do all the things that he has done. Firstly, rest in peace. Rest in peace, Rocky Johnson. You know, it's sad going through this list. So many of these people passed away. It makes me feel, I don't know. But then to see The Rock not only break through in wrestling, 7-time, 8-time WWE champion, world heavyweight champion from for the WCW world champion, tag champion, intercontinental champion. He was the youngest champion, Royal Rumble winner, just main event, the greatest rivalry with Stone Cold Steve Austin. But then the man went to Hollywood and he's dominated there. This father-son duo was perfect, and it wasn't just The Rock and his dad's side. He had the Anoa'i family, he had, that Samoan background. He was, golly, The Rock was put in such a perfect spot. And, I was just watching the other day, the 96 Survivor Series, when he first came out, blue chipper babyface. He almost didn't make it, but he had the forethought to be like, hey, maybe if they're booing me, maybe I should go out there and give them a reason. And The Rock was born. And it just went from there. Hollywood. The guy will probably end up being president one day. Like, no joke. The man is everywhere. So, again, I won't say, Dwayne's dad, Rocky, having him would be his greatest accomplishment, but I guarantee you is his most proud, his most prideful moment. Like, I can only hope that my kids have half the inspiration to go out and do what they want as The Rock has done. Because the man has far exceeded anything any other professional wrestler has ever done. Like, the man is the biggest thing in WWE, period. So, I'm going to move on. Now, that's the top 9. Now, there is number 1, but I did want to include a few honorable mentions, because this was a hard list to decide on. And there are others who more than deserve to be acknowledged, irregardless. So let's go ahead. Let's go through our honorable mentions. Starting with the Rotunda family, Mike Rotunda, Bo Dallas, and Bray Wyatt. Bo Dallas, of course, was one of the longest reigning NXT champions. He's been a Raw tag team champion, but unfortunately, his main roster run has not been great. You can talk about their dad, the IRS himself, tag team champion. He's been a champion in every promotion he's ever been in. He is indeed, to me, a Hall of Famer. And then there's Bray. Bray is one of the most underappreciated wrestlers, but he's definitely the most successful out of all of them, especially with this Fiend gimmick that he's had. This family has definitely got some of the best father-son duos out of all of them. And this is actually a beautiful picture. It's weird to see Bray Wyatt like this with his family. It's beautiful. Honestly, it's a beautiful picture. Next honorable mention. I know this is cheating, but Earl Hebner is synonymous with wrestling. And his son is one of the better referees WWE's had. He's been a great referee everywhere he's been. Yes, Earl and Brian Hebner are an honorable mention on this list because they are part of wrestling. They are. And they're a father-son duo that are great. And I have had friends who said they've met them and they're awesome people. So I wanted to put them on the list just because they're pretty damn awesome people. My last honorable mention, and this is a family definitely worthy of being mentioned. Black Jack Mulligan, Barry and Kendall Windham, the Windham family, the Rotunda family, they're practically all family. But Barry Windham especially, great career in WCW, not so much in the WWF, but in the South. I mean, it's a family definitely synonymous with professional wrestling. And I had to at least give them the mention of a fantastic background in this business. Between them and the Rotundas, it's great. Of course, Mike Rotunda and Barry Windham were a tag team champions in the 80s in the WWF. So, they are connected, at least in that way. So, but those are my honorable mentions. Now, that leaves me with number one. Who in the blue hell is going to be number one? I'm sure some of you probably already guessed it. But before I get to number one, I would like to take a second before I get to that. Because I figure if I do this here, it will be seen. With it being Father's Day. And I can say that I have been fortunate enough to be blessed with having the three children, my three beautiful children, who sadly, I've not been able to be around and be there for all the time. Some of it is on me. I think as a parent, we should always strive to be better as parents, no doubt. And I do. I feel blessed to have had them. And now that I'm with sidekick Susie, and I've been able to get to know her three awesome children, I feel blessed and confident enough to say that I now have 6 of the greatest kids. Blood or not, I feel supremely blessed and thankful to be able to look back and reflect today on the blessings that have been given to me as far as these children. And I have to say to Susie and to Beth, if she's ever going to watch this, thank you, both of you, for bringing these children into this world and allowing me to be in their lives and allowing me to be their father in some form or fashion. Blood or not, I love them all to death. And I look forward to the memories all of us are going to get to create together. And I'm just thankful to be a father. I really am. I'm thankful to be a dad. And I could not think of a better thing. And yeah, I'm always open to improving as a father. So if you all have suggestions, by all means, throw them at me. But I just wanted to say that, and I'm not trying to sound mushy, and I'm not really great with the words, but I just wanted to get that out before I got to my final one here, just so I could do it. Also, you guys can like, share, and subscribe to this channel. That'd be appreciated as well. But okay, number one. Woo, this could be a fun one. But was there really any doubt? It's the Nature Boy. Woo! And very divisive, I'm sure, Charlotte Flair. Yeah, they're my number one on the best father legacy countdown. They are, look, okay, yes, WWE has definitely gone out of their way to overbook and strap 1,000 rockets to the back of Charlotte Flair and push her. Yes, I'm one of those who's frustrated with it. But in the beginning, Charlotte didn't get all those opportunities. I do believe she had to work and earn it. She was just Charlotte. And eventually they did start with the whole, Charlotte Flair. They did eventually add that to everything with her. But there's no denying the success and the talent that she has. There's no denying it. And then you got her father, the 16-time world champion. It's more like 21. But the man is the GOAT of professional wrestling. I don't care what else you say. But he is the GOAT. And when all is said and done, if WWE has their way, Charlotte will end up being probably the best women's wrestler, according to them, ever. Now, I would lobby for a Trish Stratus. I think the quality of her reigns were definitely better than the quantity, but Charlotte has helped make this women's revolution. She has helped propel the women into the stratosphere. You can give credit to Ronda Rousey, to Becky Lynch, to Sasha, to Bayley, to Paige. You can give credit to them. But Charlotte deserves just as much credit. Yes, again, she's been pushed down our throats. I get that. And I'm not going to argue with anyone who says that she has. It's true. But when all is said and done, she still is a great performer. And she's not going nowhere, guys. You know? And when people think about dream matches with Tessa Blanchard, what do they say? Do they say, oh, I can't wait to see, I would love to see a match with her and Britt Baker. Honestly, I wouldn't mind probably seeing her and Hikaru Shida. Just a personal preference. But you think Tessa versus Charlotte. You thought Charlotte versus Ronda. Like, people think of dream matches. Toni Storm versus Charlotte Flair. Like, you think dream matches with Charlotte. You may not even realize you're doing it, but it happens. I do it. I do it all the time. And by no means am I praising Charlotte Flair. By no means am I saying that she is the greatest ever. That's not what I'm doing. But I am willing to acknowledge she's certainly one of the best. She is certainly one of the best. So, when you want to talk about her, you know, her and her father, they are no doubt the best, you know, father-child duo. Without a doubt, in my mind. They are. They just are. So, I hope today that you all at least enjoyed this video, listening to me ramble, and if nothing else, you got a laugh out of me trying to sound smart. I mean, I know my stuff. I'm not great at, you know, expressing it. But thank you guys so very much for joining me. If you did like this video, please hit the like button. Please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. The links down to all our social media is down in the description below. You can also go check out some other channels that I like. That is also down in the description below. I don't ever really mention that, but please support the channel, like, share, and subscribe. If you want to go to Patreon, you can. You don't have to, but just go to Twitter. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Facebook. You guys can definitely do that. That would definitely be huge things. But shout out to all the fathers out there, all to the mothers who are having to be fathers. Happy Father's Day to all of you guys. You all are awesome. My subscribers, you are awesome. Thank you guys. Happy Father's Day. And remember to join the nation. I'll see you all later.